I mean, if I'm being real with myself, I feel like old habits and old ways are making their ways back into my life. And I find myself being complacent. And I hate the thought of being complacent. You know that feeling when you know what you're supposed to do and the things that you're supposed to let go, but you refuse to let go. Because you know in your heart that the moment that you let go, then the real journey starts. We cannot become who we are born to be while still remaining who we are. I mean, think about that for a moment. Growth requires change, and transformation demands that we let go of the old version of ourselves, the habits, the identities, even the comfort zones that no longer serves us. A butterfly can't stay in a cocoon. I mean, not if it wants to fly, not if it wants to become what it was born to be. And you can't step into your highest potential while still clinging on to who you used to be. And as I think about this and I reflect, I realize, and there are certain things that I know that I'm supposed to change, and even certain things that I thought that I overcome. But sometimes I find that these things are still there. And I realize that it's because there are certain areas of my life that I'm still running from. And I hate feeling complacent. I hate the feeling of complacent. I hate the feeling of knowing what I am supposed to do, knowing the things that I'm supposed to let go of. But still, I find myself struggling with letting those things go. There are sometimes you hold on to things you don't want to let go because what if you're not worthy of unconditional love? What if you're flawed? What if naturally there is something wrong with you in your core? And so you hold on to who you are instead of being your authentic self. And these are legit concerns, but know this. Any love that you receive in your adult life will in some way be conditional love. The only person capable of loving you unconditionally is yourself and the people who raised you. And you can't even count on the people who raised you because, like I said earlier, most of us are raised by people who are broken, who have wounds, and who themselves are also trying to earn love, I swear, from the world outside. And I know this is a hard truth to accept, but accepting it will set you free. And understanding this is to know that this is not a bad thing. No, it's actually healthy. And before you disagree with this point or argue this point, let me ask you a question. Why don't you love everybody that you've ever met? See, once you accept this, the game changes. And sometimes you find yourself dealing with certain things that you thought you had overcome. And they come in a different way, like a temptation of some sort. Sometimes the moment that you decide to start focusing on your life in a way that the moment that you decide to take the path of purpose in your life, then things start popping up, almost like a distraction. And I think in a way that's what these things are. Now, these are the distractions that we embrace at the cost of who we are meant to be or who we are supposed to be. And as I come to this realization and seeing my shortcomings or these areas in my life, I am tempted to be hard on myself. Because in the past, I would be hard on myself. But then I realized that, I can't be hard on myself now. Not with the things that I know. I can't be hard on myself. At least not the way that I used to be. And what I mean by not being hard on myself or, you not being hard on yourself is, at least in the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you treat yourself. And I realized that if I speak to my friends the way that I used to speak to myself or the way that I'm tempted to speak to myself in the present moment, I would have no friends left. Those times when you speak to your friend or you speak to the people around you in a way that wasn't so gentle and you realize what you did, you apologize to your friends. You own up to your own shortcomings in that way. But most times when we speak these words or treat ourselves in these ways, we never apologize to ourselves. And this got me thinking today. Most of us don't know how we feel about ourselves or the things that we think about ourselves. We think we do know. But if you really want to know how you feel about yourself, if you really want to know how you see yourself, you have to look at the way that you treat yourself, the way that you talk to yourself. You see, I think that's the ultimate mirror to how a person feels about themselves, to how a person sees themselves, to what a person thinks about themselves. You only need to look at the way that you treat yourself. And it's important for you to be gentle with yourself. And once you begin to realize and take note on the way that you treat yourself, the way you speak to yourself, the things that you do for yourself and the things that you don't do for yourself, this begins to reveal how you truly feel about yourself. And there are times I believe that I know who I'm born to be, and I walk on that path. But sometimes I find myself holding on to who I am, or holding on to the skin that I am shedding, who I am trying to stop being. But you have to be gentle with yourself, and I'm speaking to myself. You have to be gentle with yourself, because the things that you hold on to, that you're holding on to right now, the things that you know that you should let go of, but you're still holding on to, and there's a reason why you picked those things up in the first place. Some of the things that we are holding, we picked them up at a time when we were very vulnerable. These are the things that got us through some dark times in our lives, in a way. And sometimes it could be relationships, and sometimes even our identity are tied to these things, and we don't know what life will be like when we let these things go. But I think that's a sacrifice that we have to make. I mean, you did the best with what knowledge you have at that point. Going through the things that you went through alone, with no parent. And sometimes that's where, some things that we carry, sometimes they are not tangible. They're intangible things, like, like some deep-rooted hurt and unforgiveness. Maybe for our parents or someone that wasn't there for us. And hurt or forgiveness can be one of those things that you're holding on to and you don't want to let go. And this can be towards the people who raised you. And so, even when you come to the realization that you have to let go, because most of us are raised by wounded people who are just trying to end love themselves. But you still choose to hold on to these things. And it's not really because you don't want to let it go, but it's because, see, this has been a part of you for so long. This has been what you felt like fueled you, motivated you, this anger, this unforgiveness, and even sometimes hatred. And you think to yourself, who am I without my anger? It's like a source of, your anger and your hatred and your unforgiveness has become a source of energy, in a way, dark energy for you, to keep going, to keep pushing. And you feel like, well, if I let these people go, if I let this anger go, like, who am I? But you were never really made to live with those things. Nobody is made to live with those things in their heart or to be fueled by those things. Those things are a burden to your soul. Those things are a shackle. They are chains to your soul. Those things own you. Those things are dark, belonging to dark entities. And they find access to you through the portal, through that door of hurt, through that door of trauma, through that door of unforgiveness, that you carry. And this entity are finding expression through you. Because what you carry was never designed to be yours. But that's a conversation for a different day. I don't want to scare you. And I think one of the reasons that we run away from ourselves and choose to remain who we are instead of becoming who we are born to be is because of fear. Fear of our greatness, fear of our potential. And believe it or not, sometimes our own potential fears us. Owning your true self can be intimidating. And sometimes it can be intimidating because of the path that you have to take as well to get there, the sacrifices that you have to make. And sometimes we look at people that we admire, but you have to understand, for you to become, you have to sacrifice. And this is me speaking to myself here. You have got to sacrifice things. You have to travel light and understand that the sacrifice that you have to make is a sacrifice that you need to make to become who you were born to be. And when you really look at it, you realize that we are running. We are running from who we are supposed to be. And so we run. And we run in different ways. See, some of us run by staying busy. And we fill every moment with noise so we don't have to sit in silence. And some of us run through habit. Doom scrolling. You go on Instagram and you scroll till you hit the bottom. And when you're done, you go on TikTok and scroll. Well, you never get to the bottom on that one. Drinking, walking, chasing anything that can keep us distracted. And some of us run by becoming what others want us to be instead of who we truly are. And the truth is, no matter how fast you run, no, you can't run away from your soul. You can't run away from who you were born to become. No, it will always keep calling. And you can still be successful in the standard of this world, in the way that this world defined success. But you know that deep inside you're empty. You know that deep inside you're not. There is a lie that you're living. And you know that your life is a result of, you selling your soul. Selling your true self, selling your authentic self. And this got me thinking, because as I am walking down the path to become who I believe I was born to become, there are certain sacrifices that I see along the way that sometimes I question myself if I'm actually capable of, making these sacrifices. And sometimes I just want to throw my hands, if I'm being real. I just want to stop everything. But I know I can't stop. I know I can't stop. And sometimes I have to just take a break and cry. No, you know what? I have to take a break and cry and just, let me just cry. I mean, it's not like I don't believe. It's not like I'm not grateful. It's not like my heart is not filled with gratitude for life. It's not like I'm not thankful for where I am, because I know where I used to be. I know how far I've come. And sometimes I still fall. I still fall short. There are certain times that I give attention to distractions. And I think it's important sometimes to take a break, but not in a way where it's like, you're slacking off. And that break might look like different things for different people. As long as you keep, you stay on your journey. And it's like I say, oh God, I know you're still there, but let me just cry. Let me cry for a bit and then we'll continue. And don't beat yourself up. You cannot beat yourself up, because you cannot become better by hating yourself. And I think it's important that you understand this. There's no good thing can come from you, hating yourself or talking down to yourself or disrespecting yourself. So the only option that you have is to be patient with yourself. Show yourself the love and the patience that you show to other people. And also not compare your own journey and the way that your life is going with the way that the next person's life is going. Otherwise, you will feel like a failure. Do what it is that you can do and let the chips fall where they may. You have to remove yourself from the expectations, and you have to watch your expectations of the result. You see, but one thing that I think I can encourage you is for you to always approach everything that you do with gratitude. I'm thankful that this channel, we're almost at 50 subscribers. The family is growing. But my heart is filled with gratitude for everybody who watched this, who watched this channel. So ask yourself, what have I been running from? And more importantly, am I ready to stop? Because the moment you stop running from yourself, it's the moment you finally begin to live. And the pain you avoid doesn't disappear. It waits. And the only way through it is to turn and face it. The only way to become who you're meant to be is to start becoming. But in becoming as well, you're also unbecoming. It's not something you do passively. It's something you have to be really intentional about. You have to be intentional. Just as you're intentional about becoming who you're born to be, you also have to be intentional in letting go of the things that are trying to stop you, the things that are trying to distract you, because some of these things have very strong hold on us. But you know what you have to do? You have to stop running. You have to return. You have to return home to yourself, to your true self. And coming home, coming to yourself doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It simply means you're done pretending and you're ready to sit in the silence, sit in your own quiet. To meet yourself honestly, in a real way. And love the person who is staring back at you in the mirror. And so the answer to becoming who we are born to be is not in running, but in returning. If you're still watching this, I just want to thank you. If this message speaks to you, just give me a thumbs up and share it to somebody. Somebody might be tired of running too. Might be tired of letting the old man back in. Thank you. I really hope you guys are doing the best with the things you have.